Hey there, this is Mike from Mac Digital Media. Today is Thursday, March the 8th, 2018, and I have another tip for you as far as ways to speed up your workflow while working in Adobe Premiere. And this is going to be about using presets. Presets can help make you speed up the types of tasks that you do, and they can be especially helpful in terms of tasks that are repetitive, or if you have a series of different images that you want to treat the same way. It can be a quick way of applying different parameters to that. Also, another powerful aspect is that it is extremely powerful when you can combine all sorts of different parameters that and effects that you want to get it to do. It's a lot quicker to use a preset than to have to copy and paste from a previous effect, or to manually redo the effect each time, of course. So here's an example. What we've got is, I've got this photo of a plane here. I'm going to go ahead and drop it into, let's see, let's go ahead and put it here for, let's see, and drop it into the sequence. Alright, so we got a 10-second clip. As you can see, it drops in and it's too big for the frame. My sequence settings in this particular case are 1920 by 1080, but my photo is too big for the frame, and thus it's going to be much more zoomed in than I want. So I want to have more of what that photo looks like in the source monitor. I would like to have the image to be zoomed out. Now there's a way you can certainly do this. You can go ahead and set to frame size, and it goes ahead and it brings it back down. The only problem is now we have like a letterboxing, or side pillar bars happening here in black that we don't want to have, of course. And same goes if you say scale to frame size. So in this particular case, what I want to do is get into the effects control tab, and I'm going to go ahead and just size it down manually myself. And it's like, okay, well, let's take it down. Let's see where we go. Okay, okay, so we've got right there is good. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it like 40 just to be even. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and treat that, apply that kind of thing to a number of different images, then I could copy and paste this parameter and paste it into the other ones, or I can make a preset, and that's super simple to do. Just go ahead and click on the motion tab, right click, and say save preset. In this particular case, we're going to say size to 40. Okay, and you save it. You go over to your effects tab. You can find it right here under presets, and it's size to 40, and that's what I just have. Okay, so the way you get it to work then is, if it is, say, back to 100 when it comes in, all you do is you just drag, you select it and drag, or you don't even have to select it. You could just grab your preset, size to 40, drop it right on the clip, and voila, there it goes, just like you need to. Well, what if you want to go ahead and do that with multiple clips? It's very simple. All you have to do is you get into your images, say I want to put them all in here, drag them in, and they're all too big here too. So now I want to go ahead and just apply the same preset to that, and you can just very easily get back to effects, and you can just grab size to 40 and drop it on all the clips, and here you go. That's just where you need to be for a starting point. Okay, so now what if you want to do something a little more complicated, and say you would like to, every time the image comes up, you want it to already be black and white, and maybe you want to go black and white and you're going to have it turn into color. Okay, well, you can certainly keyframe that. That's no problem. And how would you do that? Okay, let's go ahead and grab ourselves in the effects tab. We're going to go into video effects, and we can go into a number of different ways. There's the hue selection and color correction. You can use, let's see, and color correction. You have the lumetri color tab. You can just drop that right in there. That gives you a lot of controls for other things that you might want to do to the image. So if you go into simply basic correction, go on down to, let's see, where is it now? White balance. We want to get over to saturation. And what we're going to do is we're going to set a keyframe here at the beginning of the clip. We're going to go in, let's go in by 2 seconds. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and set another keyframe. That's going to be 100%. And let's actually take this first keyframe. Let's set it in a little bit. Let's have it establish black and white first, and then it resolves to color. And let's see, I want to go in by a second here. So I drag this keyframe here to there. Okay, and of course, saturation, if you want to be black and white, saturation would be 0. So now it'll go from black and white, okay, and it resolves the color, as you can see. Okay, so now, okay, you could save that as a preset, but wow, what if I want to be a little more complicated? Let's see, I'm going to go, let's see, why don't we make a, let's add a fade up. Now you can certainly do that with a dissolve. If you have a preset that you use all the time, you can very easily do that. Add a dissolve, very easily manipulate the dissolve, make it whatever duration you want. Or you can just do it as a preset as well. So you get into the opacity settings, and okay, I'm going to start off, I'm going to have myself, first keyframe is going to be 0 at 0 opacity because it's going to be nothing there, of course. And I want to go in 10 frames. Okay. Set another keyframe, and this one is going to be 100%. Fully translucent. There we go. So now there is actually a dissolve happening, a fade up in this case. A fade up from black. It's black and white, and it gradually turns to color. It's like, yeah, great. I'm going to do that. Now, what if I want to do? Let's add a move on it. Let's do like a scale effect. I want to, as it fades up and it turns the color, I want it to be coming at me slowly, just kind of a slow drift in as it grows larger in the frame. So I want to go ahead and start off with a scale of what it is, and let's go all the way to the end of the clip and say make it 60 in this case. Okay, so now we have it scaling up like this. And it scales up and it comes at me like that. Okay, and say I want to do that, I'm going to do that with a whole bunch of different images. So what you can do then is you can save it as a preset, and it's super simple to do. All you do is select the things, the items that you had changed, such as lumetri color. We made it, that's where we went from 0 saturation to full color. And let's see, we also use the opacity setting because we did our fade up, and we also, that type of thing. And then we also manipulated the motion size, the scale to start off with, as well as a slow zoom in. So you select all those 3 different parameters there, 3 different groups of parameters. You right click, say save preset, and now you get to save it as, okay, this is going to be MKFX1. And then you can have yourself a little description right here and tell everything that it does if you want to fill that out. And in this particular case, because you're starting at the end point where it would be, you can hit anchor to end point. hit the OK button, and now you have in your presets, you have MKFX1, and that is going to be the effects. So now, okay, well, I want to apply that same thing to all these other clips. And it's as simple as dragging it right on top, and there you go. Now all of them are going to do the same thing. They're going to fade up, they're going to be black and white, they're going to zoom in, and they're going to turn to color. And since you already had a fade up on here, if you wanted to fade between these things, you could very simply stack these up. In fact, you could do it depending on your duration. It was 10 frames. You only have to overlap by 10 frames, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here so I can show you how it's going to work. And then you just simply render that whole chunk. And now what's going to happen is you're going to get a nice dissolve between each thing as you do it. So you just render this, and depending on the speed of your computer or what might be happening in the background, that is going to render, and then you're going to get this nice effect. And it seems like it's taking forever. I mean, it's cranking up. Estimated time left. How many minutes? How many? Oh my goodness. Okay, that seems like a lot. It's 1920 by 1080. So anyway, let's go ahead and just cancel out of that for right now. Looks like we might have a process going on in the background that's kind of eating up cycles and causing it to have a problem. I'll probably have a subsequent tip on dealing with computer problems and crashes, which seems to be common day occurrence in some cases. So anyway, let's just go make it like it's just so we can at least see how this is going to work out. And as you see that as you play it, even though it's in low res, you can see as it goes through its process, and I do kind of have it going pretty far there in, but we'll dissolve to each thing, and the preset works just like we wanted it to, and everything is all great. And there you go. That's how it would work, and it should render a lot faster on your system. Anyway, that's it. That's another workflow tip. Hope that helps you out, and I'll catch you another time. Thank you.